Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be a certified nursing assistant and what they go through? Certified nursing assistants play important roles in the health industry with the responsibilities they have that can be sometimes demanding but ultimately rewarding in the end. My three main points are what exactly a certified nursing assistant does on a daily basis, how demanding it can be, and how rewarding it can be in the end. What a certified nursing assistant does is they listen to the patient, they monitor a resident's body and behavior, and they help with moving or transferring. When it comes to listening, they provide emotional support, verbal support, and reporting concerns to the nurse. When it comes to emotional support, you are going to be giving support verbally to the resident when they're getting really close to the end of their life or when they're very sick. And then when it comes to reporting concerns, you want to make sure that you're reporting anything that is out of the norm for that resident, which we'll be going over in the next point. Monitoring a resident's body and behavior, bruises, behavior, speech, and open wounds. When it comes to all four of these things, you want to report them right away. When it comes to bruises, you want to report newer bruises that you find. And newer bruises are going to be like the color of purple or like a dark blue. And then when they start healing, they're going to turn more yellowish. When it comes to behavior or speech, you want to report that to the nurse because that can mean that there is a health concern or a health risk that could be within the resident that we can't see physically. And those are like residents not acting the way that they normally do or talking the way that they normally do. And like the health risks that can come with that is either them having a stroke, getting a UTI, um, and with open wounds, you want to report like wounds that are very pussy, newer wounds that you just found, because sometimes residents will scratch at themselves and like dig into their skin really badly. And you need to report those right away because there could be a very high risk for like MRSA or basically um, the sore getting infected even worse than it originally is. And then when it comes to moving or transferring, you want to provide weight bearing. You might have to provide a weight bearing, which is extensive assistance for a resident that can barely help out. And then with pivoting, you just want to grab the resident by their gait belt, which is a belt that goes around their waist to help the CNA out. And then when you pivot them, you just grab them by the gait belt and they normally will help you out. And you just transfer them and pivot them to the side or wherever they are going. And then with repositioning, it might be with um, having to reposition them in like a chair or their bed, because some residents can't do that on their own. A way that this job can be very demanding is physically, mentally, and emotionally. The way that this job can be demanding physically is with all the lifting that you have to do and all the moving around that you have to do. Mentally, there can be concerns or burnouts. With concerns, it might be with the resident and how they're doing, and then with burnouts, it could be from working a lot of overtime because a lot of CNAs nowadays do work overtime because there's barely anybody in that field anymore. Emotionally, with the resident passing or the family not thinking you're doing the proper care for that resident, even though it could say in their care plan on what you're supposed to do, and with people telling you how to do your job. Because some family members do that. So, with rewarding, you can be feeling helpful and you might even get praised. So, with feeling helpful, you're making the resident happy. And a lot of residents are grateful for the job that you do. And then when it comes to doing tasks for them, it's basically like their ADLs or putting them on the bedpan. And when it comes to like ADLs, that means like brushing their hair, brushing their teeth, getting them dressed in the morning, washing them up, or giving them a bath. And then with being praised, you could get praised by the family member or by a nurse. And normally, things like how a CNA is doing their job do not go unnoticed. Family members are going to notice it depending on what shift you work. With nurses, they might praise you on how well you're doing your job and how well you're taking care of the resident, because they're going to see that too. So, in conclusion, while being a certified nursing assistant can be rewarding and have you feeling helpful, it can be physically, mentally, and emotionally demanding. Certified nursing assistants do a lot for their patients by listening and monitoring their body and behavior. Overall, a certified nursing assistant does several things for a patient or resident. The job can be very demanding, but at the end of it all, it's quite rewarding.